welcome back. Today I've got another ink review video for you. This is called Indigo, and it's by Diamine. And so we're going to do a swatch here. And this one I haven't tested out yet, so I'm anxious to see how it looks. And Diamine typically has really good inks, and they're fairly inexpensive as well, which is one of the nice things. You can get a lot of colors without having to spend a whole lot of money typically. Of course, it depends on where you buy them and all that, but I will find links for this color and leave it down below so you can see. All right. And this is going to be a very nice indigo blue, I think, as the name suggests. Whoops. Let me set this aside so I don't knock it over. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this under a fan so it can dry while I do the rest of the review, just so that there's not as long of a wait at the end. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, the first thing we're going to do is test this on some copy paper, because as I always say, you never know what somebody's situation is. Maybe they want to use their inks at work or school or somewhere where they can only get their hands on some inexpensive paper, and they want to know if the ink is going to perform well. That's an I. My handwriting is terrible, I apologize. So first of all, there is some feathering, a little bit. It's not too bad. Well, actually it is. As it dries, I'm seeing more. But there is also a little bit of shading that's showing up in this ink on this paper, which is surprising. Usually, if you're going to see shading, it's not until you use some nicer paper. So that's kind of neat. I guess if you can put up with the shading, maybe if you could put up with the feathering, it might be worth using on copy paper. And this paper is HP 32. It's very smooth to write on. It has a nice coating on the surface so that the ink pools on it a little bit better. You typically get to see more special effects of the inks on this paper than you would on copy paper. And the inks tend to perform really well. So I'm going to draw some lines here. And so far I'm not seeing any feathering at all. And this is a very work-safe color. So there is that. So if this was an ink that you were considering using for work, I think it would be great for that. There is definitely a little bit of shading in there. And overall, this is a really nice color. So let me go ahead and set that aside. And this paper is Tomoe River paper. And this paper is great because the ink really does show off most of its properties on this paper. This is the one that I've had the most success with. If I have, say, an ink that has sheen or shimmers, or shimmers show up on everything, but sheen or shading, this paper has almost always given me the best results. So this is a safe one. If you want a nice paper but you don't want to buy all the different kinds, this is a good one. I think it for me, it's been the most well-rounded. Okay. But I'm very new to fountain pens and fountain pen inks and things like that. So, you know, this is just my opinion. I am not an expert at all. All right. So let me wash this off. We're going to let that dry. And I will check the swatch and see how that's doing, and then we'll come back and look at all these together. All right, and I'm back. So this turned out looking really nice. I like the shading here, and this is on the Tomoe River paper. It's got really nice shading around here, around the edges, and down here in the writing, there's definitely some shading going on. We can compare that to the other papers. So on the HP 32, the color is pretty close. You definitely see shading on both. It just depends on which you prefer. And then on the copy paper, as you can see, there is some feathering. This is probably not the best ink to use on cheap paper, but you know, you could use it if you wanted, and it is a work safe color, which is nice for those of you who want to use your inks at work. And then this is the swatch card, and you can see that this ink has a lot of depth of color. Here is a little tiny bit of sheen, just a tiny bit, and then you can see the shading, like a halo shading around the edges. So if you have some nice paper, then this ink will look really, really good. So it does have some different properties. It's not just a flat blue. Very pretty color. So if there are other colors you'd like to see me dry out, then just leave a comment down below if it's an ink color that I've got, or if I can get it, then we'll do a review. And if you want to see more of these, then hit like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.